135. Women. Chalcedon Report number 147, November 1977. One of the consequences of the Enlightenment was the legal and social downgrading of women. Because the Enlightenment exalted reason to the place of God, it also exalted man as against woman. Man was seen as the vessel and voice of pure reason. Woman, at best, was practical reason, or more commonly, emotion or unreason. Legal discriminations aimed at enforcing the supposed incapacity of women to manage property began to proliferate. Because religion was seen by the men of the Enlightenment as emotionalism, religion was made the province of women and philosophy the realm of males. These concepts, which began in Europe after 1660, reached America in the early 1800s. The result was the deformation of both men and women. The sexes, instead of being complementary, were now seen as opposite, and the old pagan idea of conflict again predominated. Man saw himself as reason and woman as a grown-up child because she represented unreason. In some areas, as in England, privileged boys were early separated from their mothers for their better schooling, with unhappy consequences. In France, Baudin, with others, saw woman as closer to the animals. If woman, if beautiful and witty, could be treated as a goddess or a plaything, but her status was at all times made dependent upon a man's judgment, not God's ordination. Reason had become incarnate, and its name was man, and woman had better bow down to the new God of creation. The Romantic movement exalted emotions, without surrendering man's priority and man's claim to be reason incarnate. All the same, the Romantic movement did give birth, by this emphasis on feeling, to feminism. In fact, in the 19th century, many women, imbued with the philosophy of Romanticism, saw woman as a higher and purer being because she was more emotional. The men of the Romantic movement, however, saw only one kind of relationship with woman as, quote, exalted, end quote, safe and romantic: the adulterous relationship. The free expression of romantic emotionalism meant a separation from the family and from responsibility. To be responsible was to be unfree. As a result, the feminist leaders, whether Mary Wollstonecraft or Victoria Woodhull, were, quote, liberated, end quote, women, liberated from family ties and from responsibility. If any of these women began to make demands for responsibility from the male romantics, they were dropped as goddesses who had fallen from grace. The, quote, freedom, end quote, of man which marks the modern age is freedom, essentially and primarily, from God. This also requires freedom from all forms of responsibility. The family is especially hated. In Nietzsche, this Enlightenment principle meant a ridicule of the idea that a philosopher could be married. Instead of attacking modern man as insane and irresponsible, the feminists began to hunger for the same irresponsibilities, forgetting that it would only increase their vulnerability and victimization. This particular emphasis came to the forefront, although long present, in the 1960s, in the renewed feminist movement. Women, too, have become reason incarnate. Women, too, have the right to, quote, freedom, end quote, or irresponsibility. If men can be playboys, women can be playgirls. So went the demands. Liberation meant the same thing: freedom from God, and therefore freedom from all God-ordained responsibilities. It means antinomianism and unbelief. St. Paul declares, "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty." 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. The modern faith is, where the spirit of unbelief and lawlessness is, there is liberty. The result is social suicide. The rapid erosion of responsibility has meant an increasing social atomism and the stress on the radical autonomy of the individual. Classes now exist for women to teach masturbation so that they can dispense with men. Similar emphases are made for men, at home and abroad. Not only is God dead for these people, but all other men and women. The insane can only exist in their withdrawal from reality if someone supports them in their flight. Without that support, they either perish or return to functioning. The modern state everywhere is attempting the impossible, to create a state which will permit all men the security of retreat from reality into cradle-to-grave security. The end of such an attempt is either disaster or return to sanity. The premises of modern man involve a flight from reality and delusions of deity. With his women and children now joining him in his heedless course, modern man's days are numbered. His support from the stable elements of society is being endangered and progressively destroyed by his actions, and the time of collapse approaches. What modern man forgets is that this is God's world. Because it is God's world, these are good days and good times. God's blessings and his judgments are alike good and righteous altogether. Let us look forward to them.